GameStop is a corporation whose shares trade on the stock market. Something was done to it that is done all the time to all kinds of stocks at various points in the Wall Street saga. People decided, some, that GameStop's shares are going to fall in value. After all, it's a brick and mortar business. People aren't going to the store the way they used to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what these people did was say, ooh, it's probably going to go down. And when they do that, when they think that, they can engage in a little gambit, a little maneuver that some of you may not know about. You can borrow shares of stock from somebody who owns them with a promise to return them at a specified date, 2 or 3 months or longer in the future. You pay a fee to the owner who likes to get the fee because he or she knows they're going to get the shares back at the end of that time. So the borrower gets the shares, pays the fee, and then what the borrower does is sell the shares immediately. You're legally entitled to do that. Why? Because they're counting on the shares to go down in value between the time they borrowed and sold them and the time they have to give them back. So they'll go back into the market, say 3 months from now, buy them at a lower price, give them back to the person, and keep the difference between what they got when they sold them and what they got when they bought them back. Of course, what this does, and here's point number one, it gives these borrowers, shorters they're called, gives these borrowers an incentive to talk down the company because they need that share to go down in price. The further down it goes, the more money they get because the bigger the difference between what they got when they sold the borrowed shares and what they have to pay to get them back. So suddenly we have people moving around the world, putting stories in newspapers, making public appearances, spreading rumors, who knows, because they want the price to go down. It has nothing to do with the underlying profitability or viability of the business. It's a manipulation and a maneuver, and people know that. All that happened was some clever young men and women, and some not so young, on Reddit, figured out this game and said, maybe if a lot of us buy the shares when they're low, we can drive it back up, and that will be good for us because we'll buy them and then sell them at a higher price. The fact is that screws the people who shorted it. It's not our problem. So we got two people, both of whom are maneuvering around the stock, pushing it up or down, depending on their strength, the numbers, how many dollars they have to throw into this. And I want you to understand, it has nothing to do with the underlying economy. Next point, and the only other major point here. Please all, those of you particularly who are tempted to play around in the stock market, understand how capitalism works. Companies know what they're doing. That's different from what they announce publicly in the SEC forms they have to fill out, in the documents they have to make public. They put the best face they can on whatever it is they're doing, and they only reveal what they have to. So there's a gap, I'm being as polite as I know how, between the reality of a company and what it says publicly in its documents. Then there's a second gap between what you and I know, which is a smattering of what gets made public, and what you can learn if you're a full-time professional studying all the documents they have to fill out for all the different state and federal and local agencies, and you visit the company and you ask questions. You can know a bit more. You still don't know what the real story is, because for that you have to be one of the dozen executives at the top. So most of us, the vast majority, are 2 gaps away from the reality, 2 gaps away from what the real story is. Therefore, when you buy a share of stock, you've got to face something. You don't know. That's not your fault. It's the situation which prevents you from knowing. Therefore, it is, to be blunt, a crapshoot. It's a casino. You're throwing the little ball onto the roulette wheel, and where it comes is the end result for you. And you may have noticed that in the casino, the house always wins in the end. The Wall Street is no different.